Hi everyone, Dr. Jay Mehta here from Mumbai. Today's masterclass is going to be a quick masterclass on two-cell, two-gonadotropin theory. We must remember that this theory, if you know correctly, it forms the basis of ovarian stimulation. So what I've drawn here for all of you is actually the ovary. So this is the ovary. This is a representation of the same. The structure which is in the red is actually the granulosa cells, alright? And the one in the green are the theca cells. So it's very important. These two cells are going to be acted upon by two different gonadotropins, alright? All of this stimulation is actually controlled by the pituitary, ovarian, hypothalamus axis, which we commonly call as the HPO axis. Alright. Now what is important for people to understand is that inside the follicle, inside of these granulosa cells, then you have the oocyte which is harbored in the center. Okay, there are cumulus cells which are surrounding the oocyte. Correct? These cumulus cells are in turn connected to the granulosa cells. The granulosa cells are bound very thickly by tight junctions. Okay, what is important for people to understand is that the oocyte, okay, let me just label this for you. The oocyte actually, okay, is going to secrete autocrine paracrine factors which controls the cumulus cells. So let us take the cumulus cells out of this equation. Remember that it is the oocyte which controls the cumulus cells. All right. The granulosa cells. Okay, so let me enlarge this a little. Let me enlarge this part for all of you. Okay, so let me draw one granulosa cell. Okay, and let me draw one theca cell. So the theca cell, as we know, is represented by green color. All right. Now this theca cell is going to express abundant receptors for LH. Okay, and the granulosa cell, as it grows, remember the word is important, as the follicle grows in size, it is going to express abundant receptors for FSH. Okay, the substrate for both of them is cholesterol. Okay, but what is interesting to note here is that the theca cell is going to predominantly act upon HDL and the granulosa cell is predominantly going to act upon LDL, okay, high density and low density lipoproteins. What is extremely important to understand is the enzyme which we all love the most, okay, the enzyme which we all love the most is called as aromatase. Okay, remember this word, it's called as aromatase. LH, when it acts on these theca cells, when LH goes and acts on the theca cells, it stimulates a pathway which allows cholesterol or high density lipoprotein to get converted to androgen. Okay, when the androgen then traverses inside the granulosa cell, it is the aromatase which acts and converts this androgen into estrogen. Okay, and then this estrogen is let out inside this entire follicular fluid. So the follicular fluid is rich in estrogen apart from various other chemicals which it already has. Estrogen is predominantly present inside the follicular fluid. Very simple for people to understand. Alright. Now this is a very important basis. Remember, whenever we have excess of LH, there is excess of androgen. You don't want excessive androgen. Whenever there is excessive androgen, okay, you can have apoptosis. This is a typical picture which is present in PCOS, right? Excessive LH causes excessive apoptosis, so you have lots of empty follicles, as a result of which in PCOS you see lots of follicles, and when you stimulate you have a high risk of developing OHSS. Very simple theory. Simultaneously, when you stimulate the aromatase and when you inhibit the aromatase using aromatase inhibitors, automatically the estrogen levels which are present in the follicular fluid will go down, which will stop the negative feedback on the hypothalamus, which will increase the production of FSH, which will in turn stimulate more follicles to get recruited, and that is the mechanism of action of using letrozole, which is an aromatase inhibitor. Correct? This entire theory is very foolproof. Understanding that means the theca cells will only produce the androgen. They do not have the aromatase to convert androgen to estrogen, and the granulosa cells will never be able to convert anything into androgen. They only have aromatase activities which is exclusive to them, which allows the androgen to be modulated into estrogen. This is very simple. This is in a nutshell the 2-cell 2 gonadotropin theory. There are lots and lots of things which we are going to cover regarding follicles. For example, how does the follicle from pre-antral to antral and from antral to pre-ovulatory develop? Okay, the effect of these follicles on the receptors, which we are going to study in our next master class. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope all of you have enjoyed this.